And welcome to the Inside Delirium podcast. This is Tim Harrington. Today's date is Thursday, July 22nd, 2021. I thought I would come out and record today's episode outside. I'm currently sitting at a spot in a park that I really like to come to. Um, Having some pretty awesome weather today. Where I live in north central Washington, it's been pretty crazy weather. I think last week and a half we've been having some pretty nasty fires. It's been hotter than hell. But yeah, today's been pretty good. And I woke up this morning fairly early, and it was about 8:30 or 9. I just wanted to be outside. I really haven't done much stuff outside this whole week, so yeah. So I went down the street to a basketball court, brought the basketball, and shot some hoops for about a half hour. Which, side note, that's kind of been a new thing for me. I've been really enjoying just getting out and just going out, and it's almost a meditation thing. It feels pretty good. But yeah, no, I spent about half hour just doing that. I got done. I sat at this bench in the shade to kind of cool down a little bit, and I seen this gentleman walk up to me. I think he was about mid 20s or something. He asked if he can sit next to me, like, it being in the shade. I was like, yeah, no problem. And he asked if I had any water. I gave him a bottle of water next to one I had, and he asked if I had a cigarette. I was like, yeah. So I gave him a cigarette, and so I asked him his name and all that, and he said that he just got kicked out of his parents' house. He seemed fairly dressed, fairly groomed. He wasn't in rags or nothing, but I could tell he was having a hard time. He was telling me his story about what happened with his parents and getting kicked out, and I think drugs were a factor in that. I didn't want to keep asking for detail. It was kind of none of my business, but I got the feeling that he needed someone to talk to. So I spent the next 10 minutes sitting there with him, and I could tell he felt good that someone was listening. And so while it was a short conversation and we went our separate ways, what I took from it was, I really do believe that there is a reason for everything. Now, when it comes to religion and all that, that's kind of not where I'm at. Where I'm really at is how the universe works, and whether it be God's will or the universe or your own will. I really do believe that things happen for a reason, and maybe that had to happen. Whether it be his benefit or mine. The fact is that it did happen, and at the very least, I would hope that him sitting down and having someone to, listen to what he had to say, maybe that's what he needed. But those things happen, and that's kind of how I like to look at it. If something like an anomaly happens or some random person comes to your life, whether it's short-lived or not, uh, you should always take something good out of it. And you should also, for me personally, that's kind of how I live. If you feel like someone's giving you shit, giving you a bad attitude, there's nothing wrong with treating them better. Because maybe at the very least that humble attitude is what they need. So anyways, that's kind of what I took from that this morning. It was pretty cool. Yeah, no, thank you all for tuning in and checking out this week's episode on whichever platform you're on. This is episode number 14, and today I thought I'd discuss a little bit about procrastination and I guess the pros and cons that come with it. And that's something I know a lot about as far as my own experience. Um, I do see a lot of good and bad out of it. But first, I'd like to add that we're on Facebook, YouTube, SoundCloud, and Anchor.fm. And as of last week, Inside Delirium has branched out into the forming of an official website, and that is deliriumpodcast.com. I was going for InsideDelirium.com, but of course that was taken. Um, yeah, there you'll find some information about the podcast, and as well as upcoming events and future episodes. And I'm really happy to be able to provide that one. Having a website to make that information available is kind of something I've been looking forward to for for a long time, pretty much since the start of Inside Delirium. So I'm very happy to have that one. Yeah, definitely check that one out as well as other platforms. Um, if you like what you see, if you like what you hear, give us some feedback. By either leaving a comment or hitting that like button. Um, and if you don't like what you see or hear, that's totally okay. But definitely feel free to dislike. That is an option. And that indeed is productive feedback, and it's well accepted. So yeah. Also, hit the subscribe buttons to stay up to date and be notified when a new episode's uploaded. If not, either way, we are looking forward to having new episodes uploaded every Thursday evening. Yeah, any information about uploads, I'd like to keep that on the website as well as the Facebook page and all that. So, well, overall, it's been a pretty decent summer. Honestly, I haven't really done a whole lot, but it's been a lot of working and just taking care of my own personal responsibilities outside of work. And most of the time this summer, it's been really just taking care of my future self. And that's some pretty important stuff. I believe like leaving your future self unchecked and neglected, at least for me, can have some pretty annoying end results. And that's something I'm just now learning about. So while I haven't been doing a lot as far as embracing the outdoors, I've still been very active, just taking care of the important stuff internally. Downsizing my stress has been a main focus, pretty much the entire year. Not really just the summer, but I did start the summer off with some pretty good energy to just handle my stress points. You know, but analyzing and trying to figure out what stresses me out really was not the problem. I've always known what stresses me out. you know, I think it was pretty clear, but I think it was always figuring out the most effective strategy to combat the source. And but I think the energy I've been having so far this summer it's been going straight to just trying to squash all that. But I can say I'm pretty happy to say that whatever I'm doing, it's been working out really well. And in regards to that, I'm pretty happy that I can hopefully in the next couple of months, just have a better report on what was working for me, and just provide better insight on what worked and didn't work when it comes to squashing stress. So yeah, that's kind of something I'm looking forward to. And I was just thinking too, while at times I feel like I'm probably missing out on stuff like fishing or boating or hiking, I'm still getting a lot of stuff done. The Inside Delirium network has been another main focus. And the past 2 weeks alone has just been really productive with, getting everything worked out and just building a better foundation for the network. But in regards to, that area of my life, being the podcast, I feel like there's been a lot of things collectively that has just been pushed to the side, and I've been spending, this past week and a half just really trying to figure that out. And I think the best conclusion that I came up with, it comes down to just an annoying flaw that I have, and that it comes down to just being a classic procrastinator. But it's something I've always dealt with, But recently, I've been really trying to get down to the bottom of, why I push things to be dealt with at the last minute. And I think the best understanding I have of it so far is that I just get comfortable with my day to day. And I think in a way I keep imagining this invisible safety net thing that's just going to take care of all my problems, And I know that's complete bullshit, but, at this point it feels habitual. And yeah, it just needs to be looked at better. And why? I know that procrastinate's a problem. I know it because it affects all areas of my life, and not just the podcast. When it came to my work life, it was always a problem. Being in management positions in the past, I've always pushed my schedule making to the very last second. And when it came down to like things like extending my inventory report, Yeah, I've always rushed that to the last of the deadline. And when it came to my relationships, they were never safe from that habit. I can't count how many times I neglected effort to just improve my relationships, with people I love and care about. Or one thing I definitely not proud of is, rescheduling a lunch date with a friend just because I wasn't in the mood, and but I think where procrastinating really hurt me was my personal commitment to myself and just achieving my goals. I've always been active and keen on being a regular gym goer, but of course, the excuses to not go work out they sound more appealing than the actual commitment. And when it came to following through with the gym thing, a lot of times it was because I would, I guess, forget to turn all other distractions off. And that fact pretty much applied with everything else I would try to accomplish. But it was actually kind of different with the finances, though. I was more focused and attentive when it came to staying on top of my finances. But at a young age and early on, I didn't understand that the effect of late fees and how they can really kick your ass. But that's how it goes. If you know that you're going to get a kick in the ass because of putting off a responsibility, then yeah, at the end of it, you're just going to be a little bit more careful, about how you handle things. Um, I think in regards to my finances, when it came to procrastinating, I think it was around the 2014, 2015 era. I got in a really bad habit of pushing off my um, paying my credit cards and having late fees. That was a pretty common thing at that time. And after a while, the payments were just so damn overwhelming and out of control. Yeah, I had to resort to a debt consolidator. But there really was no excuse. I knew that I had bills to pay. Now that I look back at it, I think the reason that I put my responsibilities on the back burner, I think comes down to like just really not knowing how to rid myself of procrastination habits. Of course, things are different now, and paying my debt it's a huge priority for me. Um, but that's just something I had to go through in order to get that lesson. And ultimately, I paid a hell of a lot of money to credit cards, and yeah, most of that went to late fees. So big lesson learned there. Um, I guess another example I was thinking about goes back to around 2009. I had a shitty 1994 Ford Taurus, um, but no doubt it was a decent car, and it treated me pretty well for a while. But there was just some things that I had to take care of in order to just keep it running. I think at that time that car required more coolant than normal, and especially on a hot day. Um, yeah, no, towards the end of that car's running capability, I started neglecting just being on top of it. And it was the same old story bullshit. I'll get to it later, or I'll get to it on my day off. And before I knew it, that car told me to go to hell, and it stopped running completely after that. And but it was one of those things, though. If I would have kept up with the maintenance, then it probably would still be running today. You know. Um, but there is one thing I've noticed, though, in regards to areas that I procrastinate in. I think I tend to back burner stuff that ultimately just give me the most stress and anxiety. Whether I postpone things because of fear of failure or fear of realization. Um, Either way, I do it in all areas of my life. Um, but I really like to hope and think that I make the right decisions when it comes to being optimistic. And I do like to see all sides of things, good and bad. So, having time to really think about this topic, I think I came to the conclusion that there might be a few good things that come out of procrastination. Um, a lot of times I've rushed finishing making a schedule for my boss, and out of it came something very creative, that made the boss happy. And at times I do make better calls when I'm being rushed. Um, but that method of getting good results is something I I guess, choose not to practice. um, but there's been a good shift of energy that resulted from procrastinating, and some people tend to actually get more stuff done in a smaller window of time. And yeah, that's something I've experienced as well. And just like rushing to get my laundry done because I put it off to the last minute, it resulted in getting the entire house cleaned. And so yeah, there's some good that does come out of it. And I've heard a lot of people assure me about something by saying, something like, "We'll get to it when we get to it." And I totally understand that logic and respect it, no doubt. Personally, now that I had the lessons of, I guess, time management, um, personally, I'd rather choose to get something done right away. Um, I guess just to have that peace of mind. But either way, it's really up to you how you choose to deal with your own time ultimately. And you could look at it as, when you put off a task for the last minute, then you could be probably getting something done leading up to that. Or you could look at it as, when you complete a task right away, you'll be ahead of the game and you'll have that extra time to get, other things done. So yeah, I think it just really comes down to your own perception and value of time. But yeah, I don't know. As long as it's working for you and you're not hurting anybody, then yeah, however you choose to view procrastination, it's totally up to you. But that's just kind of something I've been thinking about. Um, but no, I'm hoping to have the discussion of procrastination pretty much a regular topic. I know it's something that everybody deals with at some point in their lives, and but my goal, just like any other episode, is to provide insight and hopefully some inspiration to those who listen. And that's pretty much what Inside Delirium is all about. So. Well, my friends, this is kind of a short episode. I'm going to try and leave on a good note. I want to say thank you, everybody, for tuning in and checking out this week's installment. Any kind of interaction and feedback is always appreciated. So, yeah, if you like this week's episode, give us a thumbs up. And if it's not your taste, then a thumbs down is acceptable as well. And, yeah, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. That will ensure that you'll never miss a future episode, as well as other content. And keep checking out the Inside Delirium Facebook page for, lately I've been posting inspirational quotes. Me personally, whenever I see a pretty bitchin' inspirational quote on my feed, yeah, it makes me feel good. So I've been doing that lately. So it's kind of a new thing on the page. Yeah, and also don't forget to visit the official website of Inside Delirium, and that is deliriumpodcast.com. And yeah, there you'll find some upcoming events and future episode information, as well as other content regards to the podcast and other good stuff. So, well, thanks again, friends, for your time, and we'll see you guys on the next installment. Later.